Hey guys, and welcome back to another edition of Film Forum. This is our news show that we do every Tuesday and Thursday here over on the FilmSpeak channel, where we talk about all, the relevant topics in the world of movie news. But most importantly, the topics come in and they are submitted by you all, the viewers, the audience, our beautiful patrons over on Patreon. And today's show is especially brought to you by our patrons over on Patreon. So a special thank you to them. And listen, if you are interested in becoming a patron of the FilmSpeak channel and you're a fan of everything we've got going on over here, consider heading on over there, because one of the tiers, I believe the $5 tier, allows you to submit topics and be an active part in the creation of this show. But hey, if this is your first time meeting, my name is Griffin Schiller, and this is FilmSpeak, where we like to say the conversation continues after the credits. And if you want to be a part of that conversation, you're definitely in the right place. So consider subscribing to the channel. So today's going to be a lot of fun. We got a lot of topics to break down, a lot of some DC FanDome recap, some rumors to go through and whatnot. And of course, I don't do these alone. I am joined by two incredible guests. First of all, Elliott from Movie Files. Elliott, how's it going, buddy?
Doing good, man. Doing great. As you guys can see, I am Vengeance. I'm wearing my Batman shirt. We're talking DC Fandom. We're talking some great news. Glad to be here with you and Chris today, man. Excited to talk about these news.
Yeah, for sure, dude. For sure. Thanks for coming on. And you know him. You love him. Chris, 3C Films, the legend who he knocked it out of the park with it. Dude, he knocked it out of the park with his DC Fandom coverage. He put everyone to shame.
The only reason I don't like coming on, you gloat me too much. What's going to happen when I get canceled and they use this clip against you? Oh, you're good friends with that guy?
Then I'm screwed. Well, no. Listen, Chris, do you have a reason for anyone to cancel you? That's the
okay,
question.
Never mind. No. But I just want to say thanks for letting me come on here, Griffin. It's always fun because I get to meet new people that I've never met before. Movie Files, nice to see you. So hope we have a good discussion. And no, I don't have a reason to get canceled. I'm going to be deleting some tweets while we do this.
Okay, and there it goes. So guys, we'll get into the DC Fandom talk here in a little bit, but I do want to touch on this interesting rumor that came out yesterday, and it was originally going to be the flagship topic for this show, but I didn't think there was really enough substantial just like evidence around it to really warrant being the topic of discussion here. So there was a report coming out from the Illuminati yesterday saying that Chris Hemsworth is being eyed for the male lead role in Mad Max Furiosa. Now, this is apparently an exclusive that they have from their sources and whatnot. So they're saying they have details regarding the casting of Chris Hemsworth and whatnot. And so George Miller's Mad Max Furiosa could be heading into production very soon, which is kind of what we assumed, I believe, like at the beginning of the year when we originally heard the details regarding Anya Taylor-Joy playing a young Furiosa, or she was in contention to play a young Furiosa. And they're trying to lock down the male lead for the character known as Dementus. So that's an interesting name. But basically, it made me think of Dementors. So I'm sure many of you, probably felt the same way. Anyway, so basically, they have the casting details, and the casting details are a lead male in his 30 to 40s. This is where it gets funny. He is breathtakingly handsome, an angel's face scarred by a deep forehead wound stitched together with shiny chrome staples. So that's not only very Mad Max, but I believe Chris Hemsworth fits that bill. So, so according to the report, Illuminati is saying they've been told by they've been told that Warner Brothers is very interested in Hemsworth for the role, but it's not a done deal yet. Going from Tom Hardy to Chris Hemsworth, they say is not a bad trade-off. I agree, it's not a bad trade-off. And based on the description, I mean, come on, it feels like Chris Hemsworth is perfect for the role, but that's basically all the details they have. I mean, we don't really know much about the Fury Road spinoff at the moment, other than the Charlize Theron is not returning for it. They're looking at Anya Taylor-Joy, possibly a couple others to play a young Furiosa, but anyways, Elliott, we'll start with you. What do you make of this? First of all, do you believe it? Do you buy it? And second of all, do you think that it actually happens?
Yeah, I mean, big Chris Hemsworth fan. We know he can do action from Extraction being a prime example, and obviously him as Thor. But this would be interesting to see. I don't think he's done anything with Warner Brothers in the past. He's worked with Sony. He's worked with other production companies before. So I'm surprised that we haven't maybe heard like a Henry Cavill's name in the mix since he has a good relationship with Warner Brothers. At least we think he does. But yeah, sign me up. I mean, he fits the bill. Handsome, 40-plus-year-old man, and who can sell a film on his own. So I mean, we'll see, man. I guess it's weird that we're hearing the supporting cast being casted before we actually get Furiosa. So hopefully we get news about who they're actually going to pick to play that role, and then obviously round out the cast. But yeah, man, sign me up for Chris Hemsworth, man. What a glorious, glorious day. So,
well, and that's the other thing. It's like it's more often than not he doesn't get to play an Aussie, and he's Australian, and so it's like it's just one of those ones where it's like it's Mad Max is like baked into the culture. It's part of the. I mean, I'm sure he like grew up loving it and everything, and so like I feel like it. I was having a conversation with a friend yesterday. They were saying, oh, they're going to cast him for comedic relief. And I'm like, well, I don't know if that's true because one, I don't think that's necessarily where this prequel is going. Two, that's not Mad Max. And three, that's not really George Miller. I mean, George Miller did Happy Feet and stuff like that, but like that's obviously geared. Yeah, Babe, but that's that's geared towards kids. So I feel like they're going to actually cast him if this is going to happen. They're going to cast him in a substantial role that allows him to use his serious acting chops as we've seen. But Chris, do you buy this and do you like it?
Yeah, I mean, just what you said right there. He comes from Aussie culture, and that's one of the staples of them. This Mad Max. So him being attached to that would be awesome, and the star power because. I wasn't that interested in a Furiosa solo movie without Charlize Theron. You speak of Anna Taylor-Joy possibly playing the younger one. I was like, okay, I do like her. That'd be pretty cool to see. But getting someone like Chris Hemsworth then attached, then that takes it to another level where that would really draw in people seeing him drive a car, doing all that great stuff. And even his description really does fit in with the Mad Max world, a beautiful face scarred with chrome. And it's like, I could definitely see that happen. But who knows? If he says no, I can't imagine who else would fit that bill. And if they would just keep going down the Marvel cast list.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's the thing. It's like the description. I mean, it could be really anyone, but it's like they're looking for someone significantly older than Furiosa. So the question becomes, it's like, what kind of role is this going to be? Is he going to be like a mentor figure? Is he going to be Is he going to be an antagonist? I don't know. Chris, you're thinking mentor?
I'm thinking mentor. That's the vibe I get off of it. Probably someone she meets along the way. I mean, we heard in her backstory, if I remember correctly, she got like separated from her group. I don't know if a lot of the movie is going to be her in the group or it's her journey leading to where she eventually got. But I think a lot of the villains in the Mad Max world are usually ugly, disgusting looking things. It could be a refreshing turn to have a handsome one be the villain for once.
Well, that's the thing. It was really interesting. It was like, well, okay, we're used to like the ugly side of this world, and so it's like you see a guy like this, it's like, oh, okay, interesting. He's got like a story here. What's with the chrome staples in his forehead and stuff? But Elliott, what kind of role do you like in like the scope of the film? What do you make of the description? I guess.
What would be a really cool twist is if we think he's on Furiosa's side, she's following his way to lead the people out of whatever the post-apocalyptic situation that they're in. They're trying to get water and all that stuff. But it would be interesting if at the end of the film, Chris Hemsworth or whoever plays this character ultimately ends up like selling Furiosa to Immortal Joe. And that's kind of tied to maybe some backstabbing, and maybe that's why she doesn't trust men like Tom Hardy. So that would be a nice little twist if that's something that they
Han Solo twist.
Yeah, that's true. He's like, obviously he's like sort of like a mentor figure at the beginning, and then he kind of like double crosses her at the end. I could see that because we have to. I'm assuming in this prequel we got to find out more about her life, before she came to Immortan Joe and stuff like that, and then obviously I assume towards the end it'll be. I mean, it'll probably be her getting sold to him or something of that nature. Well, I guess that kind of leads me to my next question. For this film as a whole, like, what are you guys expecting from it? Because we really know nothing other than it's a prequel. It's going to be a young Furiosa. I mean, Elliott, where do you see it going?
Yeah, I would imagine, again, rounding out the cast, we'll probably meet the garden of the women, or the land with the women. We'll probably round that cast out with more people and kind of see what that life was like before everything went to shit. And then I mean, maybe going back to the Chris Hemsworth, maybe he becomes Immortal Joe, or maybe he becomes one of his, henchmen or something of that nature. So it'll be really interesting. Maybe we'll get a little bit of backstory of how Immortal Joe became who he became to be, and also how the destruction of that garden at Paradise, how it came kind of went down. So maybe that's a little bit of the thread line in the story, which a lot of the Mad Max Fury Road, even though Fury Road is like one of my favorite films of all time, narratively speaking, it's more of it's a story that moves with the film, so it's not the strongest, most integral storyline. So it'll be really interesting to see if they really add in more of the plots and details compared to the other films. But yeah, Immortal Joe would be something to maybe backstory wise get a little bit of understanding of his character.
Yeah, like he's kind of like a larger presence in the wasteland and whatnot. It's like people hear about him and stuff. Yeah, that I'd be interested to see that. Chris, you have any idea what we can, or at least what we can expect, or maybe what you'd like to see in a prequel for this?
Yeah, well, the only thing I would want is just expanding on the world. It feels like we always see an enclosed vision of this Mad Max apocalyptic world through Max, and now with Furiosa, it lets us explore all these other civilizations that we're unaware of. That's what I want to see. I'm not too sure on the timeline of like how soon the apocalypse started from when Furiosa was a child, but if she remembers a time what it was like to be normal, or if she was like born into this world and her parents are the ones who remember a time when everything was normal. Just seeing more of the world is what I would want.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean we really can't like comment too much more on it because we have no idea what to expect from this. I mean, it's still in a very, very early stages. Chris Hemsworth may not even be in this film, but I think if they do get him in there, I'd be really curious to see what he can do. I hope it's for a different sort of role because people don't give Hemsworth enough credit for the kind of actor that he is. Like he can bring that serious side and that edge to him. And like after seeing him in Extraction, I feel like seeing him team up with another master of action and like in a balls to the wall insane world sounds interesting. I guess my only hope for this is that I wouldn't want him to overshadow whoever the young Furiosa is going to be, because ultimately it's not the the Chris Hemsworth show here. It's the Furiosa backstory. We want to get all of her information and whatnot. So that's the most important thing. But any final thoughts on this before we head on over to our recap of Fandom?
It would be so poetic if the spin-off got a spin-off for Chris Hemsworth.
Well, that's the thing, man. It's like if you do this, if you go through with this, I feel like he's going to be such an interesting character. People are like, "Oh, I got to see more of him in this world." Well, here's the other thing. Like, so we know that Max has been around for a while. We don't know the age discrepancy between, Furiosa and Mad Max. I'm assuming they're close to the same age. So maybe this is not even remotely possible. Although, if they're doing a Furiosa prequel, it's like, now we're just getting into the weeds, and we're like, this prequel in general makes no sense. But anyways, what are the odds? What are the odds that that this is all a ruse and Chris Hemsworth is playing, Max?
That'd be cool. I mean, they already set up a precedent that Max doesn't have to look exactly like what's his name, Mel Gibson. So he could work as a James Bond-like character where. Yeah, but that would be weird, the age difference.
Well, first of all, this prequel is weird because it's like, if we're going to focus on a young Furiosa, it's like, is this at the onset of the wasteland, or is it like the apocalypse, like basically what's happening in the original like 70s Mad Max, or is this like, is she like significantly younger than him in this, and just Max is just an ageless character? He kind of just stays the same age throughout. I have no idea, but Elliott, would you be down to see Chris Hemsworth as Mad Max?
Yeah, I think it would be kind of jarring from the age, knowing that they look kind of similar age in Fury Road, so it'll be kind of weird. But I don't know, maybe he is in some relation to Mad Max. Maybe it's his brother, cousin, father. I don't know. I don't know, but it would be interesting.
Oh man, you love to see it. But anyways, guys, that's enough Mad Max speculation for here. Do you guys buy it? You guys who are watching, do you buy it? Do you think Chris Hemsworth might actually be in the Furiosa prequel, and would you like to see it? What kind of role do you think he's going to be? We want to hear all about it down in the comment section below. Okay, so we're moving on to our next topic, which is going to be a little bit of DC Fandom recap, a little bit of patron submitted topics and whatnot. And actually, today we're going to be joined by one of our fellow patrons over on the FilmSpeak Patreon, Zach Marsh, who is here in the waiting room, and I'll add him in a second. I believe he subscribed to one of the $25 tier, and one of the perks of subscribing to that tier is you get to have a monthly appearance on the FilmForum show and get to talk about a topic of your choice during this segment. And so Zach and I corresponded, and of course he's going to be coming on here in a second, and we're going to be talking about DC Fandom. So, Mr. Zach Marsh, our patron, thank you for joining me. How are you doing, dude?
I'm doing great, Griffin. Thanks for having me here, man. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, for sure. No, great to have you on. Well, and I guess while you're here, this is Elliott. This is Chris. Say hello to everyone.
Nice to meet you, man.
I've watched you guys as well a lot on.
Oh, thank
channel.
you.
You guys, I think you guys are great. So it's
Appreciate
awesome.
Thanks.
This is an awesome lineup to be part of.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Well, I guess first of all, before we get too much into the weeds on the Fandom recap, what was your biggest, takeaway from, the live Comic-Con, for instance? Do you think it was a success, and what were like the big standout panels for you?
So to be honest, I didn't really watch the panels. I generally don't, only because I don't want to get too much about the movies before I see them. I usually find it more rewarding to go back and watch the panels in like retrospect. But I did watch a little bit of Matt Reeves talking about the Batman, and the behind the scenes kind of profile of Suicide Squad was intriguing as well.
Yeah.
But I think that Matt Reeves' remarks on what he wants this Batman movie to be were the most kind of interesting thing and exciting as well.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I know Elliott over there, aka I Am Vengeance, feels the same. It was really funny because Elliott and I finished recording the recap for the Snyder Cut panel, and like we were just kind of like shooting the shit. And I was on Twitter like looking to see what happened because we missed the Aquaman panel, and thank God we did, because we saw the leaked version of that trailer. Which first of all, how that even got leaked is beyond me. But we saw the leaked version of that trailer, and I was like,
Freaking
Elliott,
out.
I gotta stop you for whatever we're talking about. Like, you gotta look at this, man. And it was like, he was watching it, and I just saw your face, and you were just like, what? And it's just the beatdown, and oh my gosh, it was so good. But Elliott, I think that was probably the biggest takeaway for you, right?
Yeah, that Batman panel, like Zach was saying, just hearing a director talk so passionately about the character, his vision, his direction he wants to go, mentioning Gotham City as a character, mentioning the origins of these rogues gallery that I think Batman, without saying, has the best rogues gallery of any comic book character in my opinion. But that was great, and also for me too, the Multiverse 101 was one of the more amazing panels, just because of the implications of what that world can open up to, and what separates, not Marvel versus DC, but what really separates DC from Marvel is we can have a Joker film, Shazam film, Wonder Woman, Batman. They can tie together, they cannot tie together. You can have, as a creator, I would think like a director would be more open to joining that universe. Nothing against Marvel, but being that they have to play within restrictions of like, you have to kind of lead this way, you have to put this in, where DC's just like, have fun. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
that was great.
No, I agree. I think that was one of the things that enticed me. That kind of would, if I was a filmmaker, that's one of the reasons why I'd be drawn more to DC as well. But Chris, what was your overall thoughts of the Fandom event? Did you? I assume your favorite panel was the Batman, but like outside of that, what was your favorite panel?
No, a huge success, man. These live stream panels, which was supposed to be a walkthrough event, but they split it up, and I wonder if that Harley Quinn panel had anything to do with them splitting the kids side of things to I don't know if you saw the Harley Quinn panel. It was just basically she told a fan to jerk off. It was so funny.
Wait, what?
Yes, man. There's a clip of that online. You should watch it.
Man,
it was just Harley Quinn
that.
answering questions, and she was being very graphic. But anyways,
okay.
I thought it was a huge success. I love the Batman panel. Crazy how it got leaked online. I don't know how that happened at all. But the thing that blew me away, other than the fact that we got, footage, is that we got a full-blown Batman trailer a couple months away from this thing being released. And it's also like only 25% shot. Like, I just can't believe that they actually gave us like a full, I was expecting a 30-second scene or maybe even just a poster.
Yeah. No, I listen, that was the thing I think I was saying in my reaction was that like, for having 25% of the movie shot, and you give us this like fucking groundbreaking trailer that like everyone has been going bananas over since it aired. People are already speculating. It's like you the Riddler's presence, Paul Dano as the Riddler, already cements himself as just like a force to be reckoned with in this film. We get our first look at Catwoman. We apparently get our first look at the Penguin, which I swear to God that was not Colin Farrell, and that's another topic that we'll get into a little bit later. But that's I still don't believe it. We get a taste for the world. We get this great look at Batman. We get a killer, beat down scene. It's like Matt Reeves was able to show us so much with so little, and already like crown Robert Pattinson as like the greatest Batman of all. Like, I don't even care. It's like he's going to be the greatest Batman of all time. I don't know, Zach. With the footage and everything, I mean, it has to be, right? Like, I don't know how anyone else can come close to topping this.
Yeah, I already think he's the best Batman. I don't care. I said when he was announced that he was going to be like, I was a kid when Twilight came out, and Robert Pattinson sucks, Edward Cullen, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But I've become a really big champion of his the past 4 or 5 years. I think I seriously think he should have won an Oscar for The Lighthouse.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
He didn't even get nominated, and him being Batman really excited me because I think he has like the right look. He has the right. I mean, it's not his normal accent, but he has an American accent. He's got the right voice. He's got the right physique, and this trailer just confirmed all of that for me. And actually, that test footage of him in the suit from a few months ago, the kind of red room footage, that just kind of sealed me on him as well, because I don't think Batman in live action has ever looked more like the comics than this.
I agree with you, and that was in listening to Reeves talk about it. It's like, this is clearly a guy who knows and understands this character, the mythology, the lore, and everything. And but like along with that, he's not afraid to go, to take creative liberties and take creative risks. I mean, like, look at the Riddler. He looks like Hush, basically, from the comics, which I don't know if they'll maybe be playing a little tribute to Hush there with Riddler. I mean, it remains to be seen, but I mean, it's dark and gritty like the Nolan films, but it's also like, it feels just fantastical enough to where it's like, okay, this is like, it's a comic book adaptation. Whereas like the Nolan films, it's like, that feels very real world Batman. Like, if Batman were a some nutcase in like Chicago or whatever who went around like beating criminals to a pulp, that would be that Batman. This feels a little bit more heightened, but not too heightened, which I like. And then the other question is, everyone's been talking about what era is this film taking place in? And actually, I believe, Elliott, you posted a tweet about it afterwards, and you were asking for everyone's input. So we'll get to you in a second, but I do want to start with Zach. So Zach, based off of seeing this trailer, do you think that we're getting a period piece, or do you think that it's taking place in just like an Elseworld present day?
I think just from the aesthetic of everything, it looked like a period piece in a technical sense, as in like it's a period piece of maybe like 15, 20 years ago, but not something that like Joker, where it takes place in the early 80s. Like, okay. I think it's something that takes place within like all of our lifetimes. It could be current day too. There wasn't really much like in the way of cars or outfits that really placed the dates in my mind in the trailer, and I've watched it like 50 times. So
yeah, right. Well, because that was the big thing, is everyone's like, oh, this is going to take place in the 80s. It's going to be an 80s set film, or it's going to be in the 90s set film, or whatever. And that was like the rumors going into it. But like, I believe there was one shot where a guy had a smartphone. So it's like, I think it is like a modern day thing. But I don't know, Elliott, what are your sort of thoughts on the time period?
Yeah, that was kind of my biggest thing, was the guy had the cell phone, and also that looked like an Escalade, which there weren't Escalades in the 90s or the 80s. So I assume it's going to be either somewhere in the early, kind of 2000s, late 2010s or so. And that'll be, really interesting to see kind of how that plays out. But yeah, I think it's going to be a more modern take than we initially thought, hearing that it would be 80s or 90s. Yeah,
for sure. Chris?
Yeah, I like the idea, like you were saying, the Elseworld, where you can't really put a timestamp on it. Obviously, they'll have smartphones and technology would be advanced, but we also saw set photos of the cars looking really old, like early 2000s, maybe late 90s. Maybe that's just a nice touch to show how poor Gotham is as a city, because I do remember, I don't know why it stuck out to me, whenever the Batman vs. Superman trailers came and Gotham had brand new Dodge Chargers for police cars, and I was like, I don't know why that stuck out to me, but I just remember that bugged me. And I've seen the set photos of those beat down cars as part of the police force. I'm like, yep, that's Gotham. So yeah, I like the idea of it just being kind of like an unknown, sort of a Batman animated series where you can't even pinpoint what year that would be.
Yeah, I know. I like that too. I'm so glad you brought up the Cars BVS, because it was like they wanted you to make sure that Ben Affleck was driving a black like Jeep, whatever the hell it was. It's like, I saw that logo. I knew you're doing a little bit of Michael Bay there. I got it. But anyways, Still Duel in the chat here saying we've never truly seen year 2 Batman film fully fleshed out. This is going to be interesting, and Jeffrey Wright is going to crush this as Gordon. I'm glad that he brought up Jeffrey Wright, because that was he was another big standout from the trailer to me. I mean, like, I immediately thought this casting was a stroke of genius, but Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon in this trailer just sold me even more on it, to the point where it's like, I mean, granted, we've seen like, seconds of footage of him, but I already think he's my favorite Commissioner Gordon, and that's saying a lot because Gary Oldman was so phenomenal in the role. Yeah, so good. But I don't know if any of you feel the same way. But
I just think, like, I think Gary Oldman probably still will be my guy. But again, it's kind of the same reason for Pattinson. Like, Gary Oldman's Commissioner Gordon was like leaked off the comic book pages for me.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Wright's amazing, and I actually didn't know Jeffrey Wright was in this movie before the trailer, so he was a surprise for me.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what he does as Gordon, but it'll be tough. I'm not as set on him as I am on Robert Pattinson, but he could be.
Yeah, for sure. Elliot?
Yeah, I think there's a reason why they casted him, not only because he's a phenomenal actor, but also he's going to be, we know he's a great movie star, but he's also on television with Westworld. So that kind of, him having his own TV show as well is going to be fantastic. And I don't think he's going to have the commissioner quite yet. I think, again, this being year 2 Batman, he's going to probably be like a detective. And then as the films progress, as the TV shows progress, he's going to become Commissioner Gordon. So I think Jeffrey Wright is just perfect casting.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it'll be an instance of like, him sort of like, taking down the corruption in the city, like, as he does. And if it's tying into the
promotion.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the thing, though, in terms of the murders that fascinates me the most is the personal connection to Bruce Wayne. Now, there's been a lot of speculation going around now that like the Court of Owls is going to play a key part in the film. There was like a still that was taken where I believe there was someone. Yeah, it was an owl on the. Well, there was a person was wearing like an owl face mask, and like when he's grappling up the building or whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So there's like a lot of people are speculating that either the Riddler has something to do with the Court of Owls, or like the Riddler like knows something about Bruce's parents who were like part of the Court of Owls or something like that. But anyways, that is already such like an incredible storyline. That is, it's relatively new. It's beloved by so many people, and it's already cemented itself as one of the greatest like comic lines for Batman. And so to see Reeves take that and implement it into this film shows just like his love of the lore and everything. And I think it's brilliant if they actually go through with it and they do incorporate the Court of Owls. But I guess, Zach, going to you, do you think that the Court of Owls is going to play a part in this film? Do you think that there's like a connection to Bruce's parents? Because we know Reeves was talking about, the murders are going to kind of reveal to us a part of Bruce's past throughout the course of the film.
I don't think so. The reason is I think they'd be putting too much into one film. It's kind of the same reason that like Joker was a very, very small story, right? It was, about him getting on Murray's show and trying to make a name for himself and his mother. And that's all the movie was. I think the Court of Owls would be something to tease for like a post-credit scene or something like that, and make a film. Because there's no way there's not going to be a second film of this. I can already
for sure.
It's for sure going to be successful. So
yeah, 100%. Elliot.
Yeah, I think kind of like what Zach is saying. I think that, and there's always something about like DC and Marvel. They always have this synergy where they either put out a comic, a video game, like we're getting with the Gotham Knights, where they introduce the idea to the audience. So when you see it on the big screen, you might be familiar with that idea of the Court of Owls. So I think a Easter egg, a character says something and just kind of plants the seeds for a second film, a third film. But I think, like you said, Griffin, the Court of Owls storyline would be pretty cool to see because, Bruce's grandparents created the Court of Owls, and with Thomas Wayne trying to rebuild the city, they took him out because he wasn't a part of the plan. So that would be really, really cool to kind of see that come into the mix. And sign me up, man. Court of Owls is such a fantastic story.
Yeah, 100%. Chris?
For me, yeah. The only reason I don't think it would be the Court of Owls or they'll do the reveal right away is because I don't see that being a huge reveal for general audiences. 10% of the moviegoers, like their Batman fans, Batman fanatics, will know who the Court of Owls are and be so happy with that reveal. But I think the rest of the audiences would be kind of like, who are these guys in white masks? They don't remind me of anybody I know in the Batman mythos. And so that might lead to some disappointment there. I'd rather it be something like to build up to, like, you know, plant the seeds there in the background and like the second or third movie have them pop up. I think the reveal is more going to be something like with Bucky and the Winter Soldier, where comic book fans knew who the Winter Soldier was all along, Bucky. But if you watch Winter Soldier, they played it up as a big reveal, you know, that it's like, oh, Bucky's alive. It's a big deal. I think it's going to be the same way with the Riddler. It's like general audiences know who the Riddler is because of the 66 show and of Jim Carrey making that role iconic. That to general audiences would be like, whoa, that's the Riddler, crazy, when us Batman fans already know who that is.
Yeah, okay. Fair point. Yeah, I'm curious to see, you know, what the Riddler's fascination is with Bruce and everything and the connection there, like how the murders sort of tie into that.
I think it's definitely his parents were bad. I think his parents were corrupt or something. I know that's not
100%. I
think that's what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Well, and especially if it comes down to the fact that the whole that Reeves's interpretation is tackling the corruption of the city and like how it got there and like combating that and whatever, and he's doing this stuff with Gordon and obviously like Bruce, you know, taking it upon himself to do something like that. I feel like that reveal would be a shock to the system for Bruce, who didn't really know what his parents were capable of at that point in time. So like, yeah, they're definitely like not good people. I think that's definitely going to be what happens here. But, you know, were they a part of this like cult or whatever? I mean, who knows? That's fascinating to me. And I feel like Court of Owls isn't I mean, if they do the proper storyline, it's big, but it's like I feel like it's something where they could introduce it in this film, say his parents were part of this cult or whatever, and then in like the second film or the third film, they explore that a little bit more. So I don't know. I see what you're saying, Zach, by saying it would be a little too jam packed, but I also feel like there's a way that they could do it where they don't spend too much time on it, because we're already hearing that like you know, Colin Farrell's Penguin isn't going to be in the film all that much. So you know, they're just sort of like planting the seeds for stuff here. So I don't know. I'm really curious to see what happens with that. But anyways, we spent a lot of time talking about Batman. Let's move away from the Batman to some of the other DC Fandom panels. Zach, starting with you, what were some of the other standouts outside of the Batman for you?
Well, the Suicide Squad thing was actually really interesting to me. One, because I'm a big fan of James Gunn, but also like I haven't seen Birds of Prey yet, but I hate Suicide Squad. The Zack Snyder Suicide Squad.
You mean
David Ayer?
That was terrible, right? So
yeah.
The fact that they seem to be doing like a good Suicide Squad movie is really interesting to me, and I actually think this cast is a lot better. I'm glad they kept Margot Robbie, but other than that, and I think Viola Davis is in it as well.
Yeah, Joel Kinnaman and Jai Courtney, actually, who I actually really liked him. I liked him in the first one. You know, he was fun. Yeah.
But the shake up of the cast, and they've got some different characters. You know, I'm not an expert like on the Suicide Squad comics, but it just seems like it seems like a better spin, and James Gunn seems like a much better fit for what I know of Suicide Squad, and it seems really exciting. They're all really enthusiastic about it, and what they teased in that little behind the scenes thing looks awesome. Like Margot Robbie with the rocket launcher.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the other one I'm really excited about. I'm interested in Wonder Woman 84, but I'm a bit tentative about it. I don't know if we want to get into that right now, or if we want to talk about Suicide Squad more. But I have mixed feelings about the Wonder Woman 84 trailer.
Yeah, we'll come back to that then, because one of our patron topics for today has to deal with the Suicide Squad. So actually, I will bring that up right now, so we can get into that. So this is coming from one of our patrons over on Patreon. I couldn't crop it down, so you're getting both of his questions in there. But we're gonna obviously talk about the Suicide Squad one right now, not Cobra Kai. So, Camo Yummy is asking, hi, I'd love to hear your thought, or I'd love to hear a discussion about the Suicide Squad movie and video game trailers at DC Fandom. I thought both trailers were very exciting, but I actually thought the video game trailer was even more exciting than the movie trailer. What do you guys think? Well, thank you so much again for being a patron of the channel, and then also for submitting that question, because you brought up a really interesting topic here that I didn't really think about, and that's like the fact that we're getting, you know, two different interpretations of the Suicide Squad in two different mediums. And so it's like if someone doesn't like what's happening in one, then there's like they have the other one there for them. But I guess, you know, Elliott, starting with you, I guess when you're comparing the two trailers and you're comparing both looks at the Suicide Squad, which one sort of excites you more?
Both exciting, but I would definitely go with the more film side. I used to be a big gamer, but it's been many, many years since I picked up the controller. But it is exciting me that this is, I guess this world is going to be a continuation of the Rocksteady Arkham game. So it's going to have that universe, that world, and that storyline. But also, too, I like the idea that they're going against the Justice League, and I took the Superman, evil Superman, as Bizarro. So I like that they're introducing that. So this definitely looks fun, looks exciting. King Shark, it seems to be like the most popular character last 2 or 3 years, with him on the Flag, Harley Quinn, and Suicide Squad, the video game. So I guess sharks are back, and you know, Jaws. Maybe people's going to see a resurgence of Jaws. People buying Jaws films. They love
don't put that out there. We don't want the Jaws remake. No way, absolutely.
We're going to see that headline next week. But yeah, the film for me has definitely got me excited. This will be. I love Margot Robbie, man. I think as these big actors come to these superhero movies, they want to have their character evolve. So this is the third time she's playing Harley Quinn, a third different direction from that character. So it's going to be really exciting to see this interpretation of Harley Quinn, which seems to be more comic book accurate. But also too, the squad, man. I mean, Polka Dot Man, you got Ratcatcher 2, you got Weasel. I mean, the cast looks great. I mean, we already know that probably half the team's going to die within the first half of the film.
I mean, so ready for it.
Gave that away in the poster, where you can see some people are wearing the same costumes and then other characters are wearing different costumes. So I think those are probably going to be the ones that's going to be killed off pretty quickly. But my biggest thing is who is this? Who are they going to get? Who's the big bad villain they have to control? Because I know for the longest time, Black Adam was kind of in the mix of the original Suicide Squad. That was what brought the team together to take out this super villain. So I'm really intrigued to see who they're going against, and also who's Taika Waititi playing, and some of the other characters they didn't announce. So I'm really excited for this.
I legitimately forgot that Taika Waititi is in that movie. Like I'm curious to see what he's gonna play. You know, here's the thing. Do you think he's the voice of King Shark? Because they haven't revealed the voice of him, right? They've just revealed the guy who's doing the mocap, right?
Yeah,
that's what everyone is suggests. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Zach.
No, I just saying. I think it would be weird if he was the voice of King Shark. Like, it doesn't really see all his voice that I know of is just him doing like his New Zealand voice. So just hearing that voice with King Shark is a weird combination for me.
Yeah. But I think the guy they have doing the mocap suit, I think, is perfect. His Graisley voice that he has to be King Shark. I think who Taika Waititi is going to be voicing is Weasel.
I
mean, that's Sean Gunn just doesn't, like his brother, doesn't have just a distinct voice or anything like that. So I think Taika Waititi would be perfect for a character like Weasel.
No one mocaps like Sean Gunn, but he's as an actor, if he's not playing like a person that you see on screen, he just the personality doesn't come through.
Yeah, for sure. Anyways, here we have Half Baked Nitwit saying Taika is Starro, the villain. Steve AG is voicing King Shark. Excuse me, I can't speak today. But okay, so yeah, again, I feel like that would make sense. I don't know if that's confirmed or not, but if it is, then sure, yeah. It'd be fun to see Taika play the villain. And again, I don't really know much about the Suicide Squad comics and stuff like that. So like Starro and whatnot, I don't know who that is, but like, you know, cool. I'll be down to see it. But getting back to like sort of like the comparisons of the two, I guess, like the game and the movie that we're getting. I think the thing that leads me more towards the movie, outside from just like James Gunn's interpretation, is the lineup, just the characters that we have there. Now, granted, I don't know how many of the Suicide Squad characters are going to be in the game. I know in the trailer we just saw Captain Boomerang, Deadshot, King Shark and Harley Quinn, and I'm assuming that if you can cycle between them, and if it's going to be like a 4-person like RPG game, then it'll probably only be 4 characters. So I don't know, just right out there, it's just like I feel like the Suicide Squad movie already has my interest because they're digging deep, they're getting weird, it has more of a style to it, and then like the game, it's just the like 4, probably most popular characters of the Suicide Squad and whatnot. But I don't know. I guess let's talk about the trailer for the game first of all. Has everyone seen the trailer for the game here?
Yeah, I watched it this morning.
So okay, so Zach, we'll start with you. Did you like the trailer? Were you a fan of the Arkham games first of all, and do you like what Rocksteady is sort of doing with the Suicide Squad game?
So yeah, I am. I haven't played all the Arkham games. I think the last one I played was the one I played Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and then the one after that, which was like Arkham Origins, Arkham Knight.
Yeah, Origins. Yeah.
So and I think they're all great, and I'm sure the other ones are great, and I want to play them at some point. The trailer for the game, the Suicide Squad game, I was kind of mixed on as well, only because I think it just kind of looks like it's not my kind of game. Like Griffin said, it looks like a game where you maybe it's an RPG style, you're flip-flop between characters. I'm more of a fan of narratives where you play as a single person. But also just kind of the premise of the game where it's like you're fighting the Justice League is like, I don't want to kill the Justice League. I don't want to kill Superman. I don't want to do it.
Well, there's got to be a hook there, It's like I kind of going off of what Elliott was saying. I feel like the Superman there might be like Bizarro or like mind control or something. Like I don't know, maybe Brainiac's around and he's the reason why shit's going haywire, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah. Anyways, Elliott, what did you think of the trailer?
Yeah, like I said, it'll be really interesting to see what that spin is on why the Justice League needs to be killed. Are they out of control? Have they been, like you said, mind controlled? What's the angle on that? And also, too, going back to the last game I played was Arkham Knights, and I don't know, spoiler, but Batman blows up the Batcave and kind of puts everything aside. So I wonder who's playing Batman in this video game, if that's even the case. But yeah, the trailer looked cool. I mean, the chemistry looks there amongst the cast. I thought that Captain Boomerang was pretty funny in the trailer, and as well as King Shark. So it'll be really interesting to see again what's the thread, what's the storyline, and also too, we got Suicide Squad coming out 2021, and this game's coming out the following year. So I wonder if they're going to implement in the characters from the video game or the movie, whoever's the popular character from the movie besides Margot Robbie and Idris Elba, they might migrate into the game. So yeah, I thought the trailer was
whoever doesn't get killed.
Oh, what was that?
Whoever doesn't get killed.
Oh yeah, whoever doesn't get killed. Yeah,
right. Exactly.
Of course. No, I could definitely see them doing it, especially with like expansion packs and whatnot. Damn it, Chris. As soon as we were about to go to you, he came back in. Sorry. Anyways, he's back. There we go. What happened?
I refreshed by accident.
What the hell? Oh my gosh. Anyways, okay, Chris, going over to you. Thoughts on the game, and then I guess did you like the trailer and whatnot?
Definitely for sure. More so, I guess the Suicide Squad one I am excited for. Just I guess I'm gonna be one of those naysayers about the Gotham Knight game where it's like, oh, I wanted to be Batman. I mean, like I'm probably willing to bet 100% he's not dead. It's probably gonna be some sort of twist at the end of the game that it was this plan all along, and I was testing you guys or whatever. But for the Suicide Squad game, it's just crazy how fans have been begging, shouting for like a Superman game. And instead, they throw us a Suicide Squad game where we fight Superman, and we also have 2 Suicide Squad movies when people can't even get a sequel to Man of Steel 2. It's just so crazy.
The Superman disrespect is out of this world, man. I agree with you because it's almost like a slap in the face, right? It's like, it's like, oh, we're not going to give you this Superman game. We're going to make you kill Superman. So fuck you. That's like literally what it feels like to me. But I got to be honest, guys. I was not impressed with this trailer for the Suicide Squad game. I was expecting so much more. I also was not expecting a 2022 release date. That felt kind of like far away for something that they were like, guys, we got this new Rocksteady Suicide Squad game coming. I think pop culture is just sort of like oversaturated with the Suicide Squad. And like seeing what they're doing in that game, it's just like that's not interesting to me. That's like it's akin to the David Ayer movie or whatever, or Birds of Prey or stuff like that. Whereas like James Gunn's film, that's I'm okay with that because that feels fresh, that feels different. He's going for deep cuts, he's going weird, he's making it in the style of like the Dirty Dozen, like, or 70s war films. It's like he's doing something just completely out there and different. And I'm like, all right, that's interesting. To me, this game, I mean, the trailer and the gameplay was just like, it didn't really do anything for me. I also just thought that the city was very, now granted, they're probably in the very early stages of development, so that's, I can't hold it against them, but I thought the city was just like very empty. It felt like such a flat and boring world. And I was just like, okay, it's a cool tease. We get the characters, and it's cool to see them together again, but I'm just like, this isn't exciting. I was really hoping for something, because when I saw that poster, I was like, oh, cool, like that's, I don't know, like there's potential there, but this isn't the game that I wanted to see. And I agree with you, Chris. Why in God's name have we not gotten a Man of Steel 2, and why have we not gotten a Superman game? Like the possibilities in a Superman game, I feel like, are endless. Like the flying mechanics, like utilizing all of his powers. I just that seems like really different and exciting. And I don't know. There's just not enough. I guess Superman doesn't sell. That maybe that's part of it, but I don't know. Half-Baked Nitwit in here actually says something really interesting, which he's saying, I think I read the Suicide Squad game is a game as a service similar to the new Avengers game. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I definitely got like the Avengers game vibes from that, which if you don't know my thoughts and opinions on that, I'm not really interested in that game at all. It just looks bad. So, and this, I mean, I don't know. I just expected more from Rocksteady, I guess, and I wasn't crazy about the Arkham, what the fuck is it? Gotham Knights. I wasn't crazy about that, but at least that to me was a little bit more interesting than just, it's another Suicide Squad game where they might have to kill some of the heroes that you know and love, and they're going to do it in a city that's crumbling. And I'm like, that's boring. So to me, when we're going down the line and we're comparing the game to the movie, and we're like, okay, which interpretation are you more interested in? The movie takes the cake by like a long shot. Like there's just no comparison. And it really pains me to say that I'm not excited about this Rocksteady game, because I've been a major fan of their work. Like I'm even one of the few people out there that really loves Arkham Origins. I know people are like, oh, it's the worst out of the 3 Arkham games. And I'm like, nah, I'd say it's probably like the second best. Like I love Arkham Origins. And then they're also like, it takes place in the same world as the Arkham games.
Yeah.
Dude, it doesn't feel like that's true. You know what I'm saying?
Someone
like,
pointed out too, like Deadshot in the Arkham games has already been white.
Yeah.
And now they're gonna explain how he's black now.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was originally like, okay, is that Bloodsport? And I'm like, no, they're not gonna do that. That's not the case. Yeah, it's yeah, I don't know. It was a big disappointment. So I think regarding the patron submitted topic of, the Suicide Squad movie versus the game, movie definitely takes the cake. And there's really no comparison about that. But okay, moving away from the Suicide Squad, any other topics in DC fandom that any of you would like to discuss, I guess, before we move away from Fandom?
Well, that Flash Michael Keaton concept was awesome. I love that popped up.
Yeah. How about that? That was great to see it. Well, and I guess the Flash panel as a whole, while it wasn't like crazy good or whatever, it was kind of iffy. But I thought the concept art was cool. What'd you guys think of the new Flash suit?
Better than the like Justice League one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Do we all feel the same regarding that?
Yeah.
Looks nice. Looks very clean and sleek.
Yeah. Do you like the I guess, what is it? I'm trying to think of the type of suit that I'm thinking of. It's like one of those, like, I'm thinking like Iron Man, like, the Iron Man suit in like Infinity War, where it was like nanotech, and it was like that's sort of what I'm thinking for this Flash suit, but I'm not 100% sure.
We'll see if he gets the Flash ring and the suit comes out of the
be cool.
ring. So yeah, kind of fits to him, organically.
Yeah, for sure. But the Keaton thing for the Flash panel, that was all I needed to see. And then Flash gets his suit, I'm assuming from Batfleck, or was it Keaton? I was a little unclear.
Yeah,
maybe
that was
both of them,
confusing
if they're
because he
working
said
together.
he got it from Bruce Wayne, and right as he said that, they show the concept art. So it's like, which Bruce Wayne though? Is it Michael Keaton Bruce Wayne or Affleck Bruce Wayne?
Yeah, right.
I think it's probably Affleck Bruce Wayne, only because I have to imagine, you know, despite the Everworld kind of vibe of Batman, they'd imply that, like, they kind of imply that Affleck takes place more current day, and Keaton's kind of a Batman from the 80s. So I think he probably gets it from Affleck.
Yeah, that would be my guess, and especially because he's the only one who really has like a relationship with him. So I feel like it would be weird if someone else gave him the suit, you know?
Yeah.
My thing, it was just like, it'd be interesting if there's already a Tim Burton Justice League, and like, I don't know, Keaton's version of the Flash died, and he's like, well, I still have his suit. If you're Barry Allen, it should fit you.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I guess that's for sure. What do you guys think of the Black Adam panel? It wasn't a lot, but I thought it was a nice little hype trailer for me personally. But
Being I don't watch wrestling now, but back in the day, The Rock's my favorite wrestler of all time. That's how you cut a promo, ladies and gentlemen. Like, he sold that movie on his own. The JSA, Dr. Fate, Cyclone, you know, seeing Hawkman and Atom Smasher, which right now Noah as the actor, I've seen all the Netflix films that he's been in. He's not the strongest actor, but I have faith that The Rock, because this is his project. So I feel like he saw something in Noah that he was like, you know what? He can play this character. So very excited to see that. I think The Rock sold that. I was already excited for it, but I'm super excited. I feel so bad for Zachary Levi, man, because he does not stand close to just like the physique of The Rock. He's so over. I don't know why he even wore a shirt. He was like busting out of his shirt, dude. He's so large of a human being. But yeah, the Black Adam one was pretty cool.
Yeah, Zach.
Yeah, I thought the Black Adam thing was cool, and this is a comic thing like I have no knowledge of, right? So I'm approaching this purely from like a film standpoint, and I'm excited. I like The Rock. I actually think The Rock's a better actor than he gets credit for.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And you know, he's super hyped about this. That's always exciting to see. It's always a good sign. As far as the Noah Centineo thing, I haven't watched any of the Noah Centineo movies. I've watched like Karsten Rundquist break down his viewing of them, and I thought, okay, I don't need to watch these. But I've learned like from Robert Pattinson that judging someone off of like rom-coms or like teen movies that they're in is not generally doesn't go well. So maybe this guy could be Daniel Day-Lewis, you know?
That's okay. Well, all right, let's pump the brakes there.
Right, but in seriousness, right? I'm willing to give the guy a chance, especially because I have no expectations for this movie, for this character, because I have no attachment to the comic side of it. So I'm going complete clean slate, and I'm looking forward to just kind of, you know, giving the benefit of the doubt. Yeah,
for sure. Chris?
Yeah, I like how in the panel, a big chunk of it turned into talking about their workout routine. That really kept my eyes on the panel. But aside from that, I'm with it. I'm willing to give the guy a shot, see how he turns out, step away from the rom-com and be Netflix's mascot. If they're still doing that whole Masters of the Universe movie, I'm down to see that. But as far as that goes, The Rock, I don't know if he's just really good at the charisma and acting now, but he seems passionate about the movie. Like, he really wants to make it good.
Yeah.
He seems like so sure about it. So he's not going to let this thing be bad. I also did like in like the little snippets of the origin they're setting up, is they're clear that this guy is bad. You know, he's not like an anti-hero or a misunderstood guy. It's like, no, he's got these powers. He's got a certain way of doing them, and people are going to come after him to take him down. So I like that. So it'll make it that much more, because I don't even know how Zachary Levi is going to stand up to this guy. I can't see them fighting as of right now.
I feel like I almost feel like the more interesting battle would be like what The Rock was saying, which is Black Adam versus Superman. Like, that to me sounds more interesting than Black Adam versus Shazam, even though I know he's like Shazam's villain. But the thing that I think interests me most about what's going on with like Black Adam and stuff like that, aside from like, I assume we'll get partially a period piece with that, with like ancient Egypt and whatnot, and then obviously in the modern context, the thing that interests me the most is the was it the Justice Society of America, the JSA. So that to me, and he was talking about the lineup and how Black Adam's going to lead into like Dr. Fate and all these characters. And like for me, Dr. Fate, like give me that movie. I want to see that. Like that's just, and the way he was pitching it is like, these are all people who believe in absolute justice, no matter no matter what. Like even if it's like, you know, humanistically the wrong thing to do, they will see justice carried out. And I was like, that's interesting, because that's like a different spin on these superhero team ups that we haven't seen before. What if you had a team that was like, no, you don't get second chances, or like, no, you are going to die because you participated in this thing. It's like that I feel like there's a lot of interesting things they could explore with these characters and their beliefs. So I don't know, to me, that whole Black Adam panel opened up a really interesting door. So that was probably my favorite part of that panel. But then anyways, I guess before we close out the fandom talk here, I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about this. Half-Baked Nitwit asking, the question is though, which trailer was better, the Batman or the Snyder Cut? Listen, I believe we're all pretty unanimous here in saying the Batman trailer was really good, but I am curious to hear what all of you had to say about the or what all of you thought about the Snyder Cut trailer and such. So Zach, starting with you.
Oh man, I don't care. I don't like the movie. I'm not a fan of Zack Snyder. Having a different cut of a movie that just seems like unsalvageable is just, you know, I'll probably watch it at some point because I mean, Griffin knows how many movies I've watched, right? But other than that, it's just, I never understood the hype for the Snyder Cut. I get that it was like a kind of a meme joke thing, but yeah, just way more hype for the Batman. Yeah, I'm more hyped for Wonder Woman 84 than I am for this. So,
well, I think that's fair. I think the thing when it comes to the Snyder Cut is we have to remember that it's like, you know, there's like plenty of people out there who are not looking forward to it and who don't care about it and whatever, and that's fine. But it's like, this is like a project that was given life to by the fans and is like happening because of the fans, and therefore it is literally geared towards the people that made the Snyder Cut possible. And I think the story behind the Snyder Cut is what's more powerful to me than the actual film itself. A bunch of fans sort of like rising up to support a creative person that they feel so passionately about because he was basically given the shaft during a tragedy that was happening in his life. And so it's like that story in and of itself is beautiful, and I think seeing this is like the fruits of their labor and just like this community kind of coming together, like that's what interests me most, you know, regardless of like how you feel about Zack Snyder as a filmmaker or whatever. I think that's just, you know, what I've always sort of like latched onto, on top of the fact that like I want to see like a true artist's vision realized all the time, even if it's dog shit. Like I want to see it, like if that's the movie that they intended to make and it sucks, at least they can say that I stand by my work. With Justice League, Zack Snyder can't really say that that's the work that he stood by. And so it's like, with this Snyder Cut and this 4-part installment, we'll get to see everything that, you know, we had hoped we would see in the original theatrical version. And who knows? Plus, it gives us another chance to see Ben Affleck as Batman again. That's kind of how I look at it. Like that's I love to see, dude. Batfleck is the man. I love to see him. He's currently, well, I guess he would be my second favorite Batman behind Robert Pattinson at the moment. But I love Batfleck, dude. I feel like he just got, and he was never given a fair shake. That always bugs me.
That's true. He was given really bad movies.
Fighting words. Chris, what did you did you like the Snyder Cut trailer?
Yeah, same for you. I got more like, I guess, goosebumps or emotional watching the trailer, not so much for the footage and what was happening, but the behind the scenes of like, this is actually happening. A bunch of fans made this go down, just what it would mean for Zack Snyder and for all these people who are pushing for it. That's just really cool to see that done. And it looks like a very different movie than what we got. Just like so much scenes in there that weren't used at all. And one thing, like, because I agree also, I really like Ben Affleck's Batman, because I thought he did so amazing performance-wise in BVS. And then there was like a huge shift in his performance when Justice League came out with Joss Whedon's cut. He didn't feel the same. It didn't look like he was all in for it. Kind of felt slightly phoned in. And I'm seeing that performance again in the Zack Snyder cut, because that was their first go around of these characters before they had to reshoot the entire movie, and I'm sure that was tiresome or annoying to do as actors.
Yeah, for sure. Elliot, I know you and I we did our like recap of it, but just
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm just like you guys. I'm excited for the behind the scenes aspect of it, seeing an artist be able to, he lost his daughter and his movie at the same time. So being able to put, his vision to have some type of redemption to it, that story is great from just a human level. But then as a fan of the Justice League, I want to see the Justice League on the screen and justice to those characters.
Yes.
Like Chris said, literally Ben Affleck from BVS to Justice League, it was like a 180. It's like he's making jokes. He's, he didn't even seem confident when he was talking to Aquaman, and I don't know, it was just a different character. So this one looks like, the Batman that we got from BVS. Seeing Barry Allen introduce, to Iris West and that relationship. And I think the thing that they've been talking about for the longest is Cyborg. This is Cyborg's film in regards to the heart and soul of the film. His father dying in front of him digging the grave, and just everything, him being a football player to now being this cyborg. So I'm looking forward to it. We got a glimpse of the Speed Force. So I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, and look, the thing is like, if this is the only time we see these characters in a Snyder Vision film, then like at least they go out on the note that like Zach wanted them to go out on. I understand like he had originally planned like a 2-part thing for this, but then the flip side of that is, if it is a success and it's groundbreaking numbers for HBO Max, I have to imagine they would entertain the idea of doing a follow-up to it or like series and stuff like that. And so maybe we can see these characters continued on HBO Max and their own series and stuff like that. I don't know. I mean, that seems like a little bit more of a stretch, and I feel like the win here is getting the Snyder cut. But I don't know. I loved, to me, and Elliot, I think you and I were talking about this when we did our reaction to it. To me, it felt like just like peak Zack Snyder, like very Watchmen, very like, it felt like the super like a humanistic drama inside of a superhero film. Like what the action and spectacle is like great, but that's not the focus of what's going on here. It's the interpersonal stuff, which, having rewatched the Ultimate Edition of BVS not too long ago, I mean, you got to applaud like Warner Brothers for even like green lighting that, because it is like literally like 2 hours of just like talking heads and character drama, and then like a final climactic hour of just action spectacle. So I mean, I have to imagine that the Justice League film will be somewhat similar, and the stuff with Ray Fisher and Cyborg is definitely what I'm most looking forward to. But and we get to see more Cavill. We get to see more Henry Cavill, which
Black suit,
I'm always down for that. Yeah, the upper. I saw a couple tweets going around that's like release the mustache cut. Just show all of the show all of the Joss Whedon footage with him with the mustache. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. I think that'd be absolutely hilarious. But
was he filming Mission? Was he filming Fallout when they were doing that? Yeah.
Yeah, because they had to. I believe he was on set for Fallout, and they were like, "Oh, we got to do reshoots for Justice League because we're basically remaking the movie." And so we get Mustache Gate and everything. So, but anyways, guys. Okay, before we close out the DC Fandom portion of this conversation, we're gonna talk about the Wonder Woman 1984 trailer. Zach, I know you had some thoughts on that, so we'll start with you.
Yeah, I got a lot. So Wonder Woman for me, is a movie that I liked, but I've always felt that it's a good movie. It's a decent movie, and it kind of got overhyped because the DC EU to that point was just like garbage, and Suicide Squad. All these movies with really bad reception, and they finally made a movie that was good, and as a response, compared to Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman is like Citizen Kane, right? So, and there's some things about the movie that I really like, some things I don't like. My favorite thing about the movie was the Chris Pine sacrificing his life and how it impacts her, and the way that Patty Jenkins like plays the scene first where she can't hear what he's saying and then she replays it. That was the best moment of the movie. Yeah. So I have really mixed feelings with Wonder Woman 84. I've had the whole time the fact that Chris Pine is back somehow, that they've comic booked him back to life, just kind of undermines the first movie for me, and that kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Also, just the fact that the trailer it kind of seems like this is more of a comedic film. They're going a lot more for jokes and things like that. And just the fact, my least favorite part of the first movie is everything up until when Gal Gadot used the bracelets for the first time and releases her powers. Like all the stuff of her as a kid is completely disposable to me. And the fact that we're getting more Wonder Woman as a kid in this movie is also kind of like, I hope that that's like 5 minutes of the movie and not like a third of it, right?
Yeah, I don't think that that'll be very much of like it'll probably be the opening stuff, some flashback sequences and whatnot. So but well, it's interesting that you say that because I actually found Wonder Woman to be very hopeful and you know, had like a real genuine heart to it, kind of in the same way that Donner's you know, Superman did. I get, you know, people have issues with the third act because it was like, oh, that feels like Zack Snyder, and I'm like, whatever. I think it's fine. It's good.
I think the third act feels the least Zack Snyder-y of that first movie.
Oh, well, I don't think any of the movie feels like Zack Snyder. I think it all feels like Patty Jenkins. It all feels very purposeful and confident in what it is. And I mean, the No Man's Land scene, I mean, it's become, you know, this thing that we all talk about as one of the greatest comic book movie moments ever. I don't, just the first time watching that was such a punch to the gut. And just like, I remember being just like overwhelmed with emotions and in tears. And I feel like by the time we reached the end of that movie, Patty Jenkins does such a good job of just like getting to the heart and of the character and everything, to the point where it's just like it's so inspiring and beautiful. And I don't think that that's something we get often in our superhero films. We like the dark, the gritty, the intense, but it's like something that has such like a bittersweet ending like this isn't easy to pull off. And so I thought she did an excellent job with that. But I also think that she was hindered by, you know, the state of the DCEU at the time. Now, I feel like she has because she already proved herself with the first Wonder Woman, she has complete creative freedom to do whatever it is that she wants to do. And I feel like this film is going to feel even more confident, and it's going to feel even more like a Patty Jenkins movie. And as for like the Chris Pine stuff, I was a little worried about that too, but I don't think he's actually back. If we look at the trailer and we see what Maxwell Lord is saying about like wish fulfillment and stuff like that, which, by the way, Pedro Pascal as Maxwell Lord is doing his best Donald Trump impression, and I'm here for it. I'm absolutely here for it. And I think the film's going to really tap into a lot of the, you know, the excess of the 80s and stuff like that, which I like. But I feel like he's not actually going to be there, and he's going to be like, you know, something that Maxwell Lord has done to like, you know, bring him back to life artificially, or it's going to be just like a figment of her imagination. You know, I just don't. I struggle to believe that, because, you know, we seen that first trailer where she just randomly meets him at this ball and he's dressed like a really casual dude. So that, like, to me, that doesn't quite make sense if he's just going to like come back that way.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. He was a figment of imagination until the Fandome trailer. The Fandome trailer made me think that he's actually back. So that's why it kind of made me a little bit more worried about it.
Yeah, for sure. But anyways, Chris, did you like the Wonder Woman 1984 trailer?
Oh, yeah.
Where do you think we're going to go with this film?
I think it's good. It's just one of those films that I'm really excited for, but just the constant delay, the constant waiting for it kind of just died my hype down, and I don't think I'll be excited until like the day before I'm about to actually see the movie. One thing I knew they were going to show, just because it was like all over the internet, is this cheetah, and they did a perfect job with bringing her in from the trailer. I love the movements. Kristen Wiig is going to kill it. I love her as an actress. I like seeing her take this little bit of a more serious role, even if it's a little comic booky. I think it looks good. It looks way better than Cats.
That was literally my initial reaction to the trailer is like Cats is kicking itself because of the way Cheetah looks at this. And they were smart because they showed Cheetah in low light, which they could get away with a lot of stuff that way. So, but Elliott, go ahead, Zach.
I was just going to say, my one concern is you didn't really get like a full shot that was more than a few frames of the cheetah. So I'm hoping that's just because it's still early stages. They haven't finished the CGI.
Yeah.
But there wasn't really like a reveal shot of the cheetah, more than just like flashes.
Yeah, so for sure.
That would be a little worried. I hope that we don't have a cat situation on our hands.
Well, okay, let's be real. That first trailer for Cats was abysmal, and the way the Cats looked was so bad. So I think we're in a better position here. But Elliott, thoughts on the Wonder Woman trailer?
Yeah, man. I'm a big Wonder Woman fan. That's like my favorite DC film to date. Like you said, it's so reminiscent. And Patty Jenkins has said so as much. She was so inspired by 77 Superman. And you can see that hopefulness of the film. And I love the fish out of water, the chemistry between the two. And I thought it was great. But as far as like theories for me, I'm thinking that Steve Trevor, the whole how he comes back, I think he's actually there. I think the plane kind of show, like, I don't think Wonder Woman's drive, like, what, you know, Steve Trevor is driving the plane, the visible jet that they're going to see in the film. But my theory is, going back to the original Wonder Woman, the scene where they're in that pool, I think that there's some kind of something that maybe keeps him alive, and he's been on Themyscira this whole time. The mom's been keeping him hostage for Diana to become the person they wanted her to become. So I think that he's actually still alive, and I think that whole pool scene might have given him a vulnerability and could stay alive and stay the same age. So I think that he is actually going to be in the movie. But yeah, the cheetah thing, like you said, I thought it was smart that they kept it at low light. In Patty, I trust. I think they're gonna, when she's stationary and when she's, you know, it's gonna be a mixture of practical effects and CGI. So the only thing that kind of worried me is the Barbara storyline with Diana. I hope that it's more than just a surface level of like, she's prettier than me, she has more than this than me. I hope it's more deeper than that, than just superficial stuff that why she wants to kill Wonder Woman. So and again, I think Patty's going to probably allude to that more, but that's the only thing that kind of got me nervous. And also, we didn't get that no man's land emotional moment within this trailer. Like Zach said, it kind of plays more to the 80s, a little bit more happy, brighter colors. So I hope that next trailer, and this might be the final trailer because it's supposed to come out in October, that if we do get another trailer, it shows more of the serious emotional stuff like we saw like on a no man's land type of scene.
I think this is the final trailer, so they might be saving a lot of that stuff for the for the film and whatnot. But anyways, guys, that is going to do it for our DC Fandom recap here. Be sure to let us know your thoughts and opinions on any of the topics we discussed. The Suicide Squad trailers, especially. Which one are you feeling more? Are you feeling the movie more? Are you feeling the game more? Let us know your thoughts and opinions on everything we discussed down in the comments section below. I want to give you a special thank you to our patron, Mr. Zach Marsh, for joining us on this segment of the live stream. Zach, feel free to plug whatever you want, thanks again for joining us, man.
Yeah, hopefully I don't get killed by all the Snyder Cut fans. That so my all my social media is Zach, ZACHB as in Bob Marsh, MARSH. Zach B Marsh on Letterboxd is my main film thing. You can see I log and try to talk about everything I watch. I've got some reviews I need to write past things. I'm at like 5,300 films on there, so I've got a lot of insights on a lot of films. Twitter is kind of the same, but also I rant about politics a lot and telling Donald Trump where he can stick it. So you can follow me there if you want, but it won't be strictly film-based. And then I'm on Instagram as well, but I'm really bad at posting on Instagram. Like I've had Instagram for 5 years, and I have like 100 posts. So I don't expect frequent updates there, but it's all Zach B Marsh. You can follow me there. Again, it's as long as I'm alive tomorrow and the Zach take me for my home. Griffin, thanks so much for having me on, man. It's been a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to future appearances.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we'll catch you back here next month. Thanks for being a patron of the channel. I really appreciate it. I appreciate your support. Listen, and guys, if you were watching this and you're seeing what Zach's doing, and you're like, oh, that sounds cool, I'm really interested in that. Well, you can guest star on one of the episodes of FilmForum by just heading on over to Patreon. And I almost got a little Canadian there for a second. Patreon, and joining at the $25 tier that guarantees you a slot on one of the segments for the Film Forum show once a month. So thank you again, Zach, for joining us, and we will catch you back here in September for another episode. So see you guys. We'll see you.
Take care, man. Now, Griffin, the question I have for you, man. So for $26, do you read your Patreons like a bedtime story? Is that?
Yes, I do, actually. Fun fact. So there, it goes, once you hit the $25 mark, it goes up in increments. So it's like you get a bedtime story, you get a glass of warm milk at the corner at your bed, like when you wake up and stuff. It's
happy ending.
Maybe you get to watch a movie with me. Who knows? No, just kidding.
Guys, sign up for the Patreon, man. You don't want to miss out on that. Yes, sir.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh, good stuff. Well, we had a lot of DC stuff to cover, and so hopefully you all enjoy that. That's always a lot of fun when we get these conventions. And I think overall, we all thought the convention was a massive success. It's really it's what Comic-Con should have been, man.
Oh
like
my
this
God.
this
Comic-Con
put
was so sloppy.
yeah, it put Comic-Con to shame. Like there was just blew
Do you
it
think
out of
they'll
the
turn it into a physical event when everything gets back to normal?
They should. This could be their D23. And I think it could be more popular than D23, personally.
And comics, video games,
TV.
Yeah.
Yep. If they did it for 2 days, they split it into film one day, TV the other day, like they're doing it right now, but it was like a weekend during the summer. Oh my God, this thing, boom. It's major success. You know, and then they could also do the online thing as well.
Stuff,
Yeah, because I feel like that's a great way of making it accessible to like the masses and whatnot.
Sure.
And maybe they could show some like exclusive clips actually physically at the convention to make it a little bit more worthwhile. But I think that having the virtual option like this, it's going to be something I think these conventions need to consider going forward. And I mean, DC Fandom just showed that you can break the internet by doing it virtually. So
I'm just curious. Do you guys, in this final thing on this, do you think Marvel is going to do anything out of this playbook? Are they going to have
they got to step it up now? Because the last thing they did that was really big, and it worked for them at the time, so no hate on them. When they did the whole Civil War announcement and all the other movies was just a random theater out of the middle of nowhere. They can't do that again. I don't think it would get the same hype.
Yeah.
I think the difference is Marvel is kind of hindered by Disney. So it's like, and Disney has D23, which they do every other year. So that's probably where they'll see that. So, but anyways, okay, moving on to the next topic. We got a couple of other topics here that I was considering talking about. We were going to talk about Colin Farrell in the Batman trailer. Do you guys really want to talk about that, or do we just kind of like move past it? It's up to you guys. I don't know. I mean, I'm still kind of like blown that is
that's him.
That's him.
Crazy. Yeah. I wonder how much they would have changed if Jonah Hill took the role.
Right? Or Seth Rogen was there for a little bit. And that would have been very interesting.
I mean, the thing to me was like everyone tweeting out like Richard Kine's agent better be on the phone with like Matt Reeves right now complaining about why he was not considered for the role. And it's just like, I mean, they're going for an Oscar with him. Yeah. Like that, the makeup alone, and then mixed with like Dano's look, mixed with like the Batman look, like this thing's gonna get nominated and possibly win for makeup and hairstyling, production design, costume design. I mean, like all across the board.
Score too. Michael Giacchino's score is so amazing, man.
And the way that they melded it with the Nirvana song, like,
that was
so good. So good. Before we move on to the next topic, I do want to answer this question from 402. Has anyone seen the trailer for the new Kaufman film? If so, what do you think about it? So 402, I can actually tell you that I've seen the new Kaufman film. And Elliott, Elliott, have you seen it?
Yeah, I saw it last week, and reviews coming in 2 days. Yeah,
in 2 days. That's when the embargo.
The embargo, the 27th. Yep.
Oh, okay. I thought it was next week. Thank you for telling me that I can get on that review. I have a lot to say about this film, but all I'm going to say is that I am so ready for the internet to fucking hate this movie. I am so ready for it. Yeah. Dude, people are they're not going to like this movie at all.
Yeah.
And I don't think the trailer really.
What was the name of the movie?
It's I'm thinking of ending things.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I did see that.
The trailer like gives you a taste of the quirkiness, but oh my God, it is nothing what that trailer is going to be like. Without really, this is not a review, and I'm not really
collector?
No. It's
I loved it. I don't know. I don't want to. Yeah.
Okay.
There he goes.
I don't want to get you in trouble.
Listen, I also loved it. And I'm saying that the internet's going to hate it because it's just for like 2 hours. It's just two people talking in a car. So, I cannot say anymore. I literally cannot say any more about it because of the embargo. But oh my God, I'm so ready for the reactions for this film.
Jesse Buckley, man.
Oh yes. Anyways, okay, let's get away from this because we're gonna end up spoiling something. Okay, so I think we're gonna close out on this topic before we start taking live questions, and that is the Powerpuff Girls live action movie here. So, or I guess it's a series coming to CW from Diablo Cody and Greg Berlanti, which doesn't really give me a lot of hope. But listen, we're getting a new You get a new Powerpuff Girls movie. And so it's going to be on CW. It's going to be a in classic reboot fashion. It's going to center around the girls in their 20s now, feeling resentful for losing out on a normal childhood in favor of fighting crime for Professor Utonium, their creator and father. So, I mean, like, we have no idea whether, like, what villains are going to be in here, Mojo Jojo and everything. This whole story sounds like a bunch of Mojo Jojo, but
Nice.
Chris, let's go with you first. Are you excited for this at all?
Well, I actually am a big Powerpuff Girl fans. I'll say the Powerpuff Girls were probably the bronies before the bronies. That's what I think. And I remember, like, there was like a 2002 movie that went to theaters, and I just remember asking my dad to take me to see it, and him just being so confused and like worried about why does my son want to see a movie about little girls. But aside from that, the universe is rich, man. It was just a cartoon show, but there's origin stories and all that. And Mojo Jojo's origin connected to the Powerpuff Girls. Like, there's a lot you could do here, but that description and tying it with the CW of them being 20-something, hating their childhoods, looking like the sisters aren't even on speaking terms, and now they have to reunite to fight something. It's just like, it's this tired formula, it feels like, of making...
It's like Riverdale.
Yeah, exactly.
Which so there's a massive fan base for that. I'm sure I'll get shit for saying that. But
and
like,
that's the thing right there. It's like, that has a fan base, even though I hate that show. I cannot stand it. My girlfriend is actually a fan of it, and I'll be doing work on my laptop while she watches, and I'm just like, you like this? Just hearing some of the dialogue or some of the things that happen to characters, and it just baffles me. So I don't even know how they'll treat this, if they'll go realistic with it, because how do you bring in Mojo Jojo, like you said, the monkey? Will they cop out and say he died when they were kids or whatever?
Oh, it's stupid. And he'll look dumb if they bring him in, because we all know the
budgets.
Yeah, we know what
you've seen those Supergirl promos.
Oh God.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, I think the thing that is hindering me from being exciting is the premise, the fact that it's going to be another Berlanti show, and the fact that it's going to be on the CW. I know exactly what I'm getting with this, so I don't have any interest. But Elliott, thoughts?
I'll play devil's advocate. Greg Berlanti, first couple seasons of Flash, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow. I haven't caught up to Black Lightning. I heard Supergirl is fantastic, so there is some goodwill within some of his production. But like you guys said, with CW, there is a target audience that they go for. They do decide to go more of the romantic, teenage, antsy relationship. I love you. I don't love you. I hate you. Your father's dead. No, he's alive. He's been cheating on your mom. No, you have a twin sister. It gets crazy. So, I mean, the potentiality of it doesn't look that good, but I'll hold out hope that maybe this is the Greg Berlanti passion project. Maybe he's going to have more involvement in this show than he does his other shows, which, like I said, the first few seasons of Arrow and Flash had a lot of his handprints in there. And again, this going back to DC Fandom, the guy seems passionate about the projects he works on. He seems to know what he's talking about when it comes to comic book characters. So I think whenever he brings a character to light, and he's all about, diversity too. That's a big thing about his shows. He give a lot of different people opportunities to have their story on the screen. So who knows? It might be good. It may not be.
I mean, it's like it's frustrating because for everything that he does right in his shows, the writing is just abysmal. Like it just feels like, a souped up soap opera is basically what I'd say. Yeah. And I mean, God, we saw what happened with Arrow, where the melodrama just went in circles, and it's just like, oh my gosh, do I want to see that with the Powerpuff Girls? I think 402 brings up an interesting thing here, saying that like Riverdale should have been a great show, great premise that was done by unbelievably poor storytelling and dialogue. I 100% agree with that. And I feel like that's going to be the case with the Powerpuff Girls show. Like, you can make a live action Powerpuff Girls and do it well and like tackle interesting things. But this premise that's just like so like recycled and it's just done.
I just already picture it. They all have boyfriends. One of them probably is LGBTQ or something now. And it's just like, not to say that that's bad. It's just like throwing in those themes to something that I liked as a kid is kind of like, I just don't see, like, why does everything that happened that we loved have to be bad now?
Well, I know. It all feels, and I think that's the thing with some of the Berlanti-verse stuff, is it all feels very ham-fisted in there, which, like, I think Batwoman was a great example of like how they could do it and do it well. Like, granted, I don't think the writing was quite there for the show, but like incorporating her sexuality into it and like representation in that way, that worked because it didn't feel like pandering, you know?
Exactly.
Some of the other stuff on there is just like, okay, did you have to fill a quota? Like, is that what was happening right now? I don't want to see that with Powerpuff Girls. And also, just going back to the villains, like, how are they going to do him? Like, how are they going to do that?
That's the elephant in the room right there.
Yeah, right. Like, I just don't know how they
I hope they keep the voice the same though. They better not give it a regular voice.
No, I swear to God, if you screw up him, I'm out, man. I'm fucking out with this one. But Amy from the movie checklist saying, I grew up watching Powerpuff Girls, but this does not sound interesting to me at all, especially since it's CW. Again, that's the thing. CW, the creative people involved in the premise, is what is like, you know, dunking this thing down. Like, it just does not. I don't think it's going to work at all. But anyways, guys, that's all we have to say about the Powerpuff Girls live action series. Be sure to leave your thoughts and opinions down on this topic down in the comment section below. Are you optimistic about it? Do you want to see it? Do you think this actually could work if it was under a different creative team, if it was not on the CW? We want to hear about it down there as well. All right, guys, we're going to start taking your live questions here for a little bit. I know we've been going long today, so we're going to probably keep this section to a bare minimum. But yeah, feel free to start sending in your live questions so that we can just have like a lively conversation on here and everything. But before that, guys, what have you been watching lately?
I saw right before I got on, you guys were talking about Lovecraft. Now, I'm not one of the cool kids who got all the some episodes in advance. I have to watch it like the rest of the civilians out there.
Dude, you could have. I guarantee you could have.
Probably could.
They denied. Well, that's the thing. It's like they denied everyone, and then as soon as people were like, then they were like, okay, fine, you can all have it.
Yeah. But I will say, so I just saw episode 2 yesterday, and it took a real. Not jump the shark, but it's really going forward fast where I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this yet. First episode, I was all hooked in. And the second episode, I was, I don't know. I'm waiting to see how the third one goes, to like it or not. But I think you guys said y'all seen the third episode already.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. It's, so the thing about the
show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm loving the show a lot, even with, I think, the slight misstep of the second episode. But episode 3, kind of continues the anthology sort of direction of the show. And it's actually more of like a haunted house story, the third episode. And Journey Smollett just fucking knocks out of the park in that episode. Like, yeah, she probably secured her Emmy nomination with that one. But yeah, Elliott.
Going to be watching The Boys hopefully later today, season 2, because I know the rest of that stuff come out, so I'll be checking that out. And then I was got accepted to my first film festival with Fantasia Film Festival, so I have like a bunch of films I try to catch up on and watch those. So that and Train the Peninsula, saw that over the weekend. Cutthroat City, it was some interesting films. Peninsula was I know you reviewed it as well, Griffin. If I don't look at it as a follow-up to the original, it's a fun zombie film.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's very different.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's for sure.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's I'm not even joking. This comparison has been used ad nauseum, but it's legitimately the melding of Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome and Fast 5, and
it's a real different direction.
It's a really weird direction, and I don't think it kind of worked the way they like sort of intended it to. The world building is great. The new premise is interesting. The thing that I didn't like about, well, especially in terms of the action sequences, was just like it looked like PlayStation 3 just like CGI trash.
Wow.
Like it was really weird. Like the cars felt like cartoons. Like
that's in my review. I literally said it reminded me of the old PlayStation game Twisted Metal. Because there is a lot of car usage in that film that, and everyone was like a street racer. Everyone knew how to drive cars like professionals, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, right.
How to do that in zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, they were like constantly like cutting back to the girl in the seat, just like moving the clutch everywhere. It's like, oh guys, she can drive. She can drive. Just so you know. Just so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the movie as a whole, it was just like really empty. Whereas like the first one just had so much like emotion and heart, and like I actually felt attached to the characters. Whereas like Peninsula just, Yeah, it was just very. I don't know. The premise, the potential was there. It was not executed well, though.
Yeah.
At all. Did you? Did either of you watch the one and only Ivan at all?
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was sweet. It was. I mean, it's a true story, so I guess some things couldn't have been closed. I just felt so bad for Bryan Cranston's character. Right? He really got hoed, man. I don't want to spoil anything, but like his life is just like
you could.
Like,
You could
he
spoil
lost.
it.
He lost out. Oh, you haven't seen it?
No, I haven't seen it, but you can spoil it. I'm not gonna watch it. It's fine.
Oh, okay. No, so like the movie, yeah, he's like a circus inside this mall, which is already weird to me. But he raises the monkeys, so there's flashbacks of him like loving the animals so much that he lost out on a wife because he was too focused on raising the animals. Then the
So
people,
depressing.
yeah, then the people protest to let the animals be free and go in nature, and so he loses his circus and his job and his livelihood. And like, there's really no happy ending for his character. Or did you see something different than I did?
Oh my god!
This is essentially the story of Heisenberg. He lived at the end of Breaking Bad. He started a zoo in the mall, which I would imagine that mall had to smell horrible with animals in there. So I don't know.
And he wasn't even like a bad guy. The worst thing he did is just get frustrated while training an animal, but he didn't hit them. He didn't abuse them. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, poor guy. Poor guy.
Going
Feel
back
bad.
to selling blue meth now because he can't
Exactly.
have his animals.
it's the Breaking Bad origin story.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Strop Smoking asking, what are your thoughts on Space Jam, a new legacy starring LeBron and Bugs? It's going to have a $200 million budget. Yeah, I guarantee you that the majority of that budget is going to paying LeBron James's paycheck for that film. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, we got to defer to the
Oh my God,
in-house Space
stop.
Jam aficionado.
You make one
Everybody
video and I'm
get
an
up.
expert.
All right, let's hear it. Come on, man. Are you? What are you excited?
I'm sitting on something that I don't know if it's real or not. I'll send it to you if I got it here. But so there, I'm excited for it. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm a big Space Jam fan since I was a kid, and I think a lot of people are not like really looking forward to this because they think it's just going to be LeBron, just another basketball game with the Looney Tunes and some random monsters. There's your movie. That's done. But we've seen some leaks where they have Warner Brothers characters being involved in the movie. They have the Mask, they have Pennywise, they have the Joker. No word if they're going to be huge parts or if they're just going to be like background characters. Like if you remember Back in Action, there's like a whole cafe scene where Scooby-Doo's talking to Matthew Lillard and all that. Just like quick little cameos just because they have that Warner Brothers IP. They're saying that the new team for Space Jam 2 is going to be made up of Warner Brothers characters, and one of them is like it's Hagrid, Harry Potter characters, stuff like that. And so like there was a leak that landed online, but I just don't know if it's real, of Hagrid in like a jersey, not the real actor. It's like some, like Hollywood, Las Vegas type person that pretends to be Hagrid.
That's so funny.
But that he's like in a Warner Brothers outfit playing basketball against LeBron James.
Wow,
I want to see King James dunk on Pennywise. I just need
Exactly. And if that leaked footage, the Mask is wearing a referee outfit, so that would imply that the Mask would be the referee of the game, and that'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, that's funny. What do you think they get Jim Carrey back for it?
That's where we're talking about money, man. Because think of all these stars you would have to pay. Because no way they're getting any of the past Joker actors to be in the movie, and I don't know if they can afford Bill Skarsgård back and all that. But Jim Carrey would be a big price tag. I feel like it'll just be all impersonators.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I assume that it would be all impersonators. But man, if they could get one person back, it would be Jim Carrey as the Mask. That would be the one that I want to see. But
I wonder, would they be able to so we see the human versions of them, but then when they get in the Looney world, like they're animated. So Pennywise is animated, the Mask is animated. I wonder if and then they use their voices and maybe act.
It would be cheaper to voice them. That would work.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's interesting. So, Chris, did you just drop an exclusive on this show?
Oh my God! Stop! Are you gonna make that a separate video? I haven't even made it on my channel. Go ahead if you want. Yeah, man. I'll toss you the photo afterwards, and you can add it if you want. I just don't know if it's real or not. It looks so phony, but it also looks real.
Yeah, listen. Reddit is a magical place. I'm assuming that's where you got it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, Reddit's a magical place where things pop up and, we get scoops from people and all that stuff now. But listen, I think that's kind of genius route to go with the film. Because it's like, you're right, we've seen the Looney Tunes play against like the Monstars and like just like these monsters and whatnot. So why not like kind of put a new spin on it, incorporate the classic like Warner Brothers IP characters that they we've loved. As someone in the chat mentioned, like sort of like a Lego Batman sort of thing. Yeah, I feel like that could be a cool route to go with it. Especially the Hagrid thing is really that's really funny. I'd love to see just Hagrid dribbling the ball off the court. Yeah, right. Just like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be great. Do we know which Looney Tunes are going to be on the team? Is it going to be the same people who are in?
No, I mean, obviously, I think the basics will come back, Bugs and Daffy, but no like exact word on there. They could throw in some new ones. I'm pretty sure they're going to change up Lola's character from what she was, because in the old movie she was just like a sexualized thing, and I think in this one she'll come off probably more of her own.
Yeah. No, I would assume so for sure. In that, listen, the jersey reveal didn't really work for me. I thought it looked.
Big a fan of them either.
It looked like just really awful alternates that they would only wear one time, and then. That's it. that's the extent of the jersey. But I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Do you think we'll see like more than one game in it, or will it just be one game?
I think that's actually what will be one of the things. Kind of like what Creed 2 did, where I think there'll be like an opening game. They lose and they like lost a bet or something, because I don't want to give too much away in case of it. But like they said, Don Cheadle is the bad guy, and he's going to be playing like some sort of Warner Brothers CEO, is what it sounded like. So it sounds like he's like. It's a meta thing. It's like, oh, we need something to reboot. Let's do Space Jam. And the Looney Tunes don't want to do it because they're like actors in this world. So they're like, okay, how about you play a real basketball game? And if you lose, you have to make the movie. And if you, I don't know, that's like what I'm hearing. But I don't think that's 100% confirmed.
I kind of like that. Wait, Chris, where are you? Where are all the scoops, man? You're giving us the stuff here.
You wrote the script, right? I mean,
I wish. I'm not that creative. But doesn't that sound way better than just like LeBron being thrown into a random basketball game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely does. I mean, I agree. I feel like, if they're going to go into Looney Tunes, they're going to redo the same thing. I feel like, making it more meta, taking a new approach, being like, oh, we got to make this like bigger. We got to do a reboot or whatever. We're going to incorporate all like Warner Brothers IP. And so like, I feel like it makes that more palatable.
Yeah, and it makes sense too that LeBron just came to LA 2 years ago, so he's trying to get into the Hollywood scene, and that would make sense that one of the brothers would come to him and be like, "Hey, you're the new Laker. You want to get in this?" Yeah, so that all.
He was trying to do Friday the 13th reboot, but then the lawsuit happened.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I think there's a lot that we can sort of like look forward to with the with Space Jam 2. I'm still looking forward to it just like for nostalgia reasons, and obviously it'll be cool to see like I just love the animation live action hybrid, but I feel like going in a fresh direction like this, making it more meta, maybe taking a page out of like Looney Tunes Back in Action's book, that sounds like it'd be like a good idea. But anyways, guys, any, I guess, closing thoughts here on Looney Tunes before we close out the show?
When's that trailer? I just want to see that trailer, man.
Yeah, that's the other thing. What do you think? Do you think we get it during the NBA finals? Like the actual final? Yeah. I mean, it feels like the right time.
Do you think we're getting the Dune trailer this week? I saw something about that online where like Discussing Films tweeted out. Do you think we're getting that anytime soon, or they're still waiting?
No, I think we are getting that soon. Like they said that it's coming. I think it's going to play in front of Tenet. Like 100% it's going to play in front of Tenet. Whether or not it gets dropped online is another question.
I mean, if they drop the Batman trailer fucking just so far in advance, Warner Brothers. Yeah.
And I guess the other question with Dune is like, do you think that's going to come out on time now? They're pushing Tenet out, and they seem to be more confident in releasing films and such. So do you think Dune's gonna come out this year?
I think it'll depend on how much Tenet makes. Tenet will be, because I mean I don't remember the numbers for how Unhinged did in the US or whatever, but I think Tenet's going to be the first real case of a big movie in this current pandemic, how it does.
Well, here's the thing with Unhinged. Unhinged killed it at drive-ins in LA over the weekend. It did gangbusters there. Like and I think it did really well in theaters across the nation. I mean, obviously not like, Tenet numbers are projected, but like, and so with that in mind, Tenet is recently saying, Warner Brothers is saying like, oh, Tenet is not going to screen in drive-ins in theaters in states where theaters are not open, which I think is absolutely fucking ludicrous. Like Warner Brothers' whole strategy with the Tenet release, from the press coverage of it to like the actual release strategy for it, makes no sense. They are just they're actively preventing and gatekeeping people from seeing it. And I don't understand.
Like the Fortnite crossover trailer.
Listen, I'd be willing to watch. I'd be willing to watch Tenet on Fortnite. I would, but like, here's the thing: why can they not compromise where they can? Why can they not show Tenet in a drive-in theater in LA? Why can't they show Tenet in a drive-in theater in New York? Why can't they give all? And you know, maybe this is like a little bit of anger just coming from like the perspective of someone who's like working on the press side of it, the journalistic side of it. Yeah. LA and New York are hubs for this type of stuff. People make their living off of covering this film, and now you're alienating those two respective cities with the people who cover it, and the people who desperately need money right now and who are hurting will not be able to make a paycheck because they can't cover the movie because Warner Brothers is actively prohibiting them from being able to see it. And so like, it just feels like very strange. Like they don't want any coverage of it. I've heard that they haven't even allowed like people who were involved in the movie to go to screenings, like VFX and stunt people. I heard that the other day, and I was just like, it's just very strange to me. They're like the mentality of them deciding like who can go see this movie, who can't, and then also like saying to the masses, even more so, saying to the masses that no, you're not allowed to go see this movie in a drive-in because we're not going to allow it because of the theatrical experience. Yeah. I'm just like, I don't get what you're doing with the release strategy for this film.
It's wild, man. I took the drive-in more as so like piracy issues, like people in their cars recording the film and uploading it on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram just to do that, just to be jerks. But yeah,
but don't you think that? But don't you think that's going to be an issue though? Like just in theaters in general? Like I feel like piracy is going to be an issue no matter what, because you're limiting where the film is going to come out. Like it's just like, it's just going to be a thing.
I would imagine like people are so weird these days that they would get like drones to go into the drive-ins just to record ending to spoil it. So people are so weird, dude. So drive-ins, I can understand the secrecy of like open public screen. Someone can run in a forest and watch the movie. And it's not as controlled and contained as the theater experience.
Now you're putting all these scenarios of just like these like bush
weird, dude. People are behind like sleeping in people's cars. Like people would literally hide in people's trunks just to see Tenet and record. Like it'll just be crazy, man.
Yeah. Look, like here's my thing. I'm like, you're releasing the movie. You've already accepted that it's probably that you're going to take a hit and you're going to leave it in theaters for longer. The big thing here is them making a statement. It's not necessarily about profits. They want to be the movie that ushers in the theatrical experience back in. Cool, I get that. So compromise where you can. Show it at drive-in theaters. Show that you actually care about the theatrical experience and that you want people to go to the movies. Because if they can go to the drive-ins and see it, when theaters open up, they will probably go back to the theaters too. I don't know. Chris, do you have any sort of thoughts on this?
I just want to see it. I don't know what the problem is. Is there a conversion rate? Is it just they don't earn as much, and so they just want to limit where people can go see? Because I know you can see 2 movies with 1 ticket at a drive-in usually, right? So what's the conversion rate on that?
If they're screening Tenet, all they have to do is just say, well, we're not going to do that. We're going to just show Tenet, and then we'll clear everyone out and then move people in for the next screening. Why gatekeep like this? It's strange. It's strange. But anyways, yeah. So I guess any final things to add before we close out the show here? No, all good. Had enough of me.
Yeah. Do you already see New Mutants, or did you get press screenings? I'm seeing it Thursday.
There's no press screens for New Mutants. They're not screening it. Yeah, sadly. Listen,
I won't be going to theaters anytime soon for me personally. So yeah, I'll be waiting for it to whenever it's available on VOD, maybe.
Yeah.
There's not any open around your area?
There is. It's just so I'm in Missouri, man, and one of my friends went to the theater the other day, and it was just a matter of like the whole mass. People were not abiding by the mask things, and the staff of the AMC could care less. It was just like I trust myself to go to the theater to take the right safety precautions, but it's just unfortunately the people, I just don't trust other people doing the right thing. So
yeah. It's just. Yeah, Anyways, guys, thank you all for tuning in, for your questions, for your engagement here. It's been a lot of fun. Special thanks to Zach Marsh again for joining us on the show, patron of the show. Again, if you want to be on this show, consider donating at the $25 tier on the Patreon. We'll bring you on here. We'll have a great conversation with whoever's on and so forth. And then also, if you don't want to give it the $25 tier, you can give it the $5 tier, and you can have your topics dictate the course of the show. Lots of ways for you all to get involved in the creation of FilmForum, and like we say, we do this show for you all, and we all want to just sort of have a conversation with you, the audience. So if you're interested in that, definitely head on over to patreon.com/FilmSpeak. Thank you to my two panelists for joining me today, Chris and Elliott. Chris, where can everyone find you?
Yeah, you guys can find me at youtube.com/3cfilms or on Twitter at 3cfilmreview. Well, thank you for having me on, Griffin. Nice meeting you. Movie Files, aka Vengeance.
AKA Vengeance. There you go. Yeah, and Elliott, thanks for coming on. Where can everyone find you?
Yeah, man, you guys can find me on YouTube talking about the latest movies and TV shows and all that fun stuff. And today was awesome, man. Chris, Griffin, you guys are great. People in the chat, you guys are awesome. And it's a great conversation. Thank you for having me on, man.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, guys, again for coming on. Definitely go give them a follow. Lastly, guys, if you haven't done so already, be sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the FilmSpeak channel. If you're new here, we'd love to have you. As we like to say, the conversation continues after the credits, and this is a perfect way to continue that conversation with you all. You can like FilmSpeak on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, just search FilmSpeak. And if you like me specifically and you like what I have to say, you can give me a follow on Twitter at Griff Schiller. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of FilmForum, and we'll catch you back here possibly on Thursday or Friday. Haven't decided yet because Thursday is my birthday, so maybe I'll do a special birthday episode. Who knows? But I'll keep you guys posted. But thank you all again for joining me, and until next time, take care.